What person need to eat to become Bob Sapp?
Yes. Well, I can tell you that. Well, before I had to. Now I'm a little bit older, so I have to concern myself about my weight. But to be big, what I did do is eat in the morning. I had a 12 egg omelet. So 12 egg omelets, a full carton, or what we say is a full almost half pound or pound of bacon, followed by a full portion of hash browns. So hash browns is like fried potato. Okay, so that's almost, think of those as 4 potatoes or 5 potatoes. And then I would have 1 gallon of orange juice, and that was alone for breakfast. And I did go off and do some training and everything right afterwards. Now this is a good 6 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago. Quite recently, within the past 2 or 3 years, I've had to kind of scale back so I can lose a little bit of weight, because I guess as I get older, it was no longer very advantageous for me. But that's how I did get big. I did eat quite a bit, and of course I was born pretty big. I have not. Do you know where my shoe is? Maybe let me see. Yep. Oh, there you go. Hand me one of my shoes, sir, so we can see exactly what I mean by being born big. Well, these are size 18 shoes. So now I think does that translate in Russian? Size 18 shoes, is that about the same?
No.
So.
No, it's different, but I'll check.
Yeah, so let's check. So UK, that is...
Because I have 11.
Okay, so UK, this says in the United States, this is size 18. In the UK, it's size 17. In Europe, it's 52.5. And I think that's, what is that, centimeters or inches? I have no idea, because I know 36 centimeter happens to be Japan. Sanju roku senchi. すごい日本語。
And do you feel your ages?
Do I feel my age? Sometimes I think I feel more of my weight than my age, so that's I've lost some of it. So no, I really still feel like I'm kind of young when I get into the ring or when I experience new things. I'm always interested in learning, so I really enjoy it. And of course, for fighting and entertainment, I travel all around the world, and that is always a new experience.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so do you like pets, or do you have some pets?
Yes, I love animals, and I have 6 dogs and another 4 cats. I have 1 dog from the zoo, which is a New Guinea singing dog, and 1 cat from the zoo, which is a serval. My other dogs happen to be rescue. 1 dog I did, however, get from a promoter in Amsterdam. It's part Kangal and part South African Borbal. Now this dog is roughly 11 months old right now. In kilograms, he's 97 kilo. So he's wanting to grow right up there with my shoes.
Tell us a little about your preparation to fight with Alexander Emelianenko.
The preparation, it's extreme because the beast has to be back. Let's face it, I've had many losses. Although now we've come to find out exactly where that money was going and why I had to do what I did. Well, the part 2 of that is within that agreement that I come back and train hard for fighting. Now these companies will step forth and take care of all the problems and all the problem that the fighters that happened. So for us to briefly recap in history, K1 left a lot of the fighters, which happened to be my friends and family that I grew up with. They left them without money. Some of them started to have brain damage. Some of them started to kill themselves. It was a very bad situation. So I had to kind of go on a journeyman's journey, collect money very quickly, and give it to all of the fighters and promoters that were doing terrible. So, and I did this by doing everything from giving some of the money to the fighters or flying some fans in to the events so that could keep MMA going. Of course, we had to take care of those who had no interest in MMA at all, which was regular people. I had to do that as well. So that's exactly what I did. Well, they started to ask the question, hey, when's the beast really going to come back? We see the beast in the ring, and he's either a turtle or he's a kitten. So when is the beast going to come back? We'd like to see a lion or a bear or something like that, instead of these kind of smaller, the mouse into the ring kind of thing. So I said, well, you know what I'm doing? They said, yes, and no longer will you have to do that. They of course, increased my salary, and they then went through and started to pay for all these fighters. So no longer is it coming from me. No longer is it coming from anyone else. It's coming from these big sponsor companies. So I do have to go through and fight serious, and I do have to give my all in tremendous amount in everything that I do. So I have to take more damage, more, and I need to put out more. Everything happens to be more. Always I have given what I could. However, now I need to really lay it down onto the line. Now I really need to perform. And so what am I doing? Well, that's going to be training for hours on end. I will do so in Japan, where they have 6 or 7 people that are just going to get up every day and make sure I'm training. We will do a regimen, and Legend has actually said, this is a secret, that the Legends actually said, hey, let's see some of these videos. Let's see what your body fat is. Let's see where you're going to be at. So they're fully aware, and I need to do that to make them comfortable, as well as I have really cut back on my fighting and touring schedule, and and that's one of the reasons why the money and of course the salary has been back to where it is, because that says now, hey, everything's right. So if I do this wrong, I'm the one who's going to be really ripping people off. I'm the one that's going to be in trouble, because now they've handled the problem. No longer is it just on me. So I really do need to come through.
You talk about Japan. Why did you choose Japan? It's just...
well, one of the things is that, Japan, I've pretty much kind of grown up there. The beast has got his first, he started to crawl there and walk and all that stuff. So that's almost like my home place now. If you look at, that's the reason why I started speaking Japanese, and why I knew that 36 happened to be Sanjugo Senchi or Sanjuloku Senchi on the shoes, because I'm primarily living in Japan, and so Japan chose me. Did I choose them? No, but Japan chose me, and I'm just happen to really respect that, and it is truly an honor. And there's some great similarities when you talk about Japan and Russia. Of course, we share in the stars for MMA, but I mean, look at this. I say stars, and they use a star over here in Russia, and they also use the color red in Japan, and they use the color red here. So it's really great, and that's where I actually met Alex, Alexander. So, and his brother, of course, is famous in Japan. So everyone knows about those guys in Japan. Everybody knows about Russia and Japan. So this is a really nice mix. And if anything, I know that Russia already knows what's going on anyway with me, so there's no way I can even pull it out. This happens to be some of the countries that definitely are on the list for me to fight: Russia, Brazil, and of course in Japan. And right now, I have to keep my schedule small, because I do need to fight hardcore, fight serious, and do very hard, so I can no longer do the 5 fights in a month and 18 fights and all of these things. This is going to be a small amount of fights. They're going to be serious, and everything is taken care
of. Now you are weighing 170 kilos. Are you sometimes bullied in the street?
Am I bullied in the street? No.
No. You was attacked by bullying.
Oh, no, but what happens for me is that where I usually get attacked is I do have a tremendous amount of fans, and my security that's around me, the security guards are really around me for just the safety. I've never had an experience where somebody came up and wanted to fight me and do any of that stuff, but I have had several unique experiences where I've had either girls jump up or run around naked and jump onto the taxi cab, too. I've had, guys that would like to fight each other or fight someone in hope that I will see that and say, hey, you're such a great fighter, let me get you a contract. Obviously, that's far from how it works, but this is usually what happens with me.
You have a size big voice. Do you thinking about making album to sing?
Well, am I thinking about making any more albums? Well, yes, I have had some major record label contract interest. I have released an album in Japan, and subsequently, now I never released it, but it is available on iTunes. So we're discussing that as to how. But the album that got released in Korea is actually selling on iTunes. Bob Sapp Christmas. So 2 albums I've had, and of course major interest now. So my voice and voiceovers. Well, yes, I will be exploring that more in the future.
Do you think about writing a book?
A book possibly written in English. Yes, full of details that the majority of people can understand, absolutely. In Japan, they've released several books, and of course, the new book right now is the Bob Sapp, or The Beast is Angry, which tells primarily some of the stories about what's going on in fighting and why I was doing and what was happening for the past few years. That's right now, I think it's in Japan, and I think it's the number 3 bestseller, as well as some, well, kind of how the beast enjoys sex. So, shh, that's all I'm going to say, so you can look it up, and believe me, I'm sure I will hear from you sometime or another about what is going on with that book and why I said that.
Okay, you have beat Alistair Overeem in arm wrestling.
Yes.
Do you think you can beat him in K1 or in MMA?
In K1 or MMA, can I beat Alistair Overeem? The answer is yes. Will I have to take some more training? Answer is yes, of course. But is it possible for the Beast to come out in there and to shine? Well, just ask Ernesto Hoost.
Did you want, when you fought in Pride, did you want to fight with Fedor Emelianenko?
Absolutely, I did want to fight with Fedor. Did I want to fight with Nogueira? Well, that kind of just came up, so I had no idea exactly who he was. So I stepped into the ring against Nogueira, and some say I actually really won that fight. So, you know, I believe that we both ended up coming out winners, because in performing in front of over 100,000 people outside, well, that truly is an honor. To step into the ring with such a legend, and of course to come in to know even the great legends such as Fedor or even Alexander himself. This is what really the true sport of fighting is about. I mean, these guys have put in hard work. You must remember, when everyone is looking at UFC, I mean, these guys in the United States, they're fighting once or maybe twice a year. It's nothing compared to what all these international fighters are doing. Even the amateurs are fighting 2 to 3 to 4 times a month, and they're really putting it out there. Very hard, all the time for years on end. These are the guys that truly understand the sport and to really get it done with fighting. That's far from doing just twice a year.
So, can Bob Sapp dance? Can Bob Sapp play basketball? Can Bob Sapp cook?
Yes, the Bob Sapp can dance. Cooking, absolutely. Playing basketball, no.
Will be your belt on the line in the fight with Alexander?
You know, it will definitely mean everything to me. I'll put everything that I can on the line. And what I mean by that is one thing that you'll see. So do I have any belts, or the K1 belt? If it happened to be the K1 from 2005, that tournament that I won, I would say absolutely. However, this next belt that is going on line.
I meant that belt that you show in clip about Ariel Helwani.
Yeah, that's right. Will the Beast, will that belt be out there? Absolutely. You know, I'll put that on the line, and you know, well, Aereo that's a guy that pretty much just has no idea about MMA. You know, when you can just do a report solely based on Wikipedia in an iPad, well, I think that kind of shows you that he's, well, a bit amateurish. Well, he'll never be on NBC or CBS or ABC anytime soon. We'll probably put him in the back.
He is on Fox.
Yes, and Fox is more of like he can be on Fox. Is he a part of the Fox network and staff? No. So, you know, you can, you know, eat a turtle with mustard and be on Fox, okay? There's a difference between being on the news and actually making it. So Aereo, it happens to just be on the news. He's far from anyone that makes it, and you can probably tell that because he's far from being clean shaven or anything like that. He's far from anybody that's professional. You know, he's very unprofessional. I mean, have you ever seen at any time on any major news network anyone break out with an iPad and say, "Oh, according to Wikipedia, here you go"? No, you never see that, right? So that's how you know that that's strictly and solely somebody that's there that's maybe getting $5 and he's happens to say, "Hey, look, Mom, I'm on TV." You know, that kind of thing. But he's far from being professional.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.